And you're welcome. It's a Saturday edition here for Breakfast Extra. Of course, it's one very peculiar Saturday because if I told you how I got here, Judith, let me turn to you. How did you get here this morning? I have a story to tell. What?
I had means.
You had means. That's okay. That's okay. I'll tell you my story in detail.
No, you know, I
got closer to Oshodi and realized that there was a detour. Well, it wasn't really a detour because everybody just kept reversing, so we had to take the alternative routes into. I found myself in Yaba, and then realized that that had also been blocked, and that I had to get into Igbobi. By the time it was light, I mean, because the sun came up, which normally doesn't happen as I drive to work every day, I realized that, oh my goodness, time is going and I'm not sure about this route. So I had to keep following these travelers, you know, the buses that go out of town, just wherever you go. All I know is you're heading out of Lagos, you have to use the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway exit. So I just kept following them. And then to get on a third axial road, and then there's a burned truck on there. I think it must have been a diesel truck or car. Must have happened overnight, which was being evacuated. So that caused a bit of traffic again. Then what I eventually had to do was simply step out of the car, spread open my shirt to reveal the S on my chest, and it flew all the way here.
I knew it was going to go somewhere. I didn't have any issues per se, and I just happened to, you know, I don't like sharing those details, but I know that if I had been at my usual location that I normally, which is my residence.
You had pre-warning then.
So I actually didn't even know until I got the call yesterday that that there was something happening. I was like, oh, there is? Okay, cool. So I just called the folks and I'm like, hey, clean the other room.
That's what I wanted to discuss, you see. I mean, these establishments who are utilizing public spaces or public roads for it's a marathon, by the way, just in case you didn't know. There's a marathon going on right now, and it's caused road closures in places that will have very heavy traffic. However, there was very little warning. There was very little communication out there. There might have been some. Every single year there always is, but this year I don't think there was enough publicity given to the fact that there will be road closures in Lagos. And I'm wondering whether, I mean, hey, this bank owes me money. Is the facts, because I just burnt my time and money out there this morning because I didn't know that there was that event going on.
Right. And I also, actually, and then I thought that they would, don't you have the press?
Oh no, you can't go through the roads even with that. I mean, it's for the runners, so the cars wouldn't be able to get on there.
Right.
So
anyway, kudos to them. They're running under this humid, hot weather is really something.
It could do something for that waste you were talking about instead of 001. Great monologue, by the way. And Nigeria is doing what it always does. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're wondering, what will Nigeria hit me with again today? This week we saw the what's it called now? The tariff hikes for telecoms go up. We didn't think it was going to happen, but they did. One particular telco had 200% increase in one of their data packages, which was actually a mistake. But if you were paying a certain amount, you were paying 200% more at the end of the day. They had to cancel that plan and apologize. But I'm wondering what happens to all the data that actually went down the drain.
I've said this thing, and I'll say it again, that that 50% hike that the NCC it should not have happened, simply because they still have blotchy network. It's still not as fast. I mean, I know a particular network, it's green, high. It's not as fast.
Zeros it down to 2.
It's not as fast. And then the other one that is, I don't know, red, yellow. Sometimes you guys go out once in a while. I don't know what's up with that. You just all of a sudden just start to disappear, you know. And then there's now the issue of data depletion that really happens, that even when you pay for 8 gig or 15 gig, there are times where you still have to renew within a week. I don't know how 15 gig finishes in 3 days. Right? So that's data depletion. So they should not have approved for a 50% hike. But again, what do I know? I'm just
I'm sure we'll find pieces of this inside of the front pages of all the papers this morning. So let's check out our dailies for this morning. Welcome once again to Breakfast Extra here for Saturday morning. My name is Monday Okpebholo, of course, with Judith TB. Let's do the papers together. So, good morning and welcome. We're going to be discussing a lot today, plenty of politics from Edo State, and of course looking at the U.S. aid instance and plenty more here today. But first, we have to start every single morning with our papers. And this morning we're starting with the Punch newspaper. Let's see what the front page for the Punch newspaper has for us today. Canada visa snub. That one was a big one through the week. Did you see, Judith? They can go to... Can we use that word now? Okay.
No, we can't.
Well, he's allowed. FG blows hot, weighs response as embassy battles to deflect criticism. Minister knock Canada, say action disrespectful, and I thought that it was. How dare you, Canada? And it's about time, and I love that clip. I think it should go viral, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. It's enough. The disrespect is absolutely enough. There is more for the front page of the Punch newspaper. Oshumonak allegedly faces COVID-19 fraud trials in the U.S. and reps Binance chief trade words over $150 million bribe allegation. Did you hear? The guy says that they were actually requesting for $150 million, not naira. Not naira.
Dollars.
Let it sink in. Dollars. That would have been quite a windfall for everybody who would have been involved. He also said he lost plenty of weight. You should read the story. Very interesting. Tinubu ex-presidents pay tribute as a Fenifere leader. Adebanjo dies at 96. He was only just a couple of months shy of his 97th birthday. And I wept secretly during WAEC NECO exams over jests about my science, says a Kiti University student. You can see a picture of her there and why that was quite a concern. And the big one from through the week, if you were in entertainment circles, Two-Face's family alleges musician is missing as controversies over divorce lawmakers' romance rage. I'll come back to that. Obasa drags Lagos Assembly Speaker to court, and I love intelligent men. Funke Akindele. Why, hello. But let's talk about Two-Face and him being missing. First of all, did you see the letter that was put out?
It was a letter.
There was a letter put out saying we can't find our illustrious son. And, and it was,
isn't it like what, 50?
It was dated. Yes, he's still a son. What's your problem? I'm still a son. But the letter was dated the 7th, and they said they've been looking for him since the 10th.
The 7th?
Yes, the letter is dated the 7th, and they've been looking for him since the 10th. And
When was the proposal? When was the proposal? The proposal to Nuru Natasha?
That was on. I'm not sure. I don't live with the DBS.
It was like what?
But it came out.
It
hit the media on Wednesday, or was that?
Yeah, it was around this time. It was around.
Tuesday
It was this
so.
week. Yeah.
It was this week, of course.
Yeah. So I'm kind of backdating it, right? So if they say the letter was dated 7th.
Mm-hmm. And they've been looking for it since the 10th. That's 4 days, 5 days ago. That's on Tuesday.
Right.
Yes,
so it just makes. I'm just trying to do the math in my head.
Whatever the case, whoever wrote the letter should be investigated first because he had intent, apparently. Because if it's dated like so, then you knew he was going to get missing.
The videos that we're seeing circulating of them partying, the after party after the proposal, which happened at night. So
what was that?
Which is going to be around the 11th.
Oh yeah.
So that's not Two-Face?
You're already investigating. Leaving for the
it's
DSS.
My brain.
Leaving for the
my brain
DSS,
does that.
one thing I took out of that clip was the part where they were, this is history. This is history. The guy kept saying inside of the clip as he proposed. It was funny. But I'm sorry, we digress. Let's get back to the front page, shall we? What next do we have, Jude?
I hate that a once in a generation, once in a lifetime, once in a generation talent like Two-Face is now, his legacy has now deteriorated to...
but I beg to differ, but we can't have that conversation now. I think whatever the case, still remains a legend.
Yeah, well...
Let's do the Weekend Trust now, shall we? The Weekend Trust is our next daily.
And the first one that jumps at you there, the $150 million bribe. Binance official accuses 3 lawmakers, says NSA demanded crypto worth billions. Allegations false, a federal government. Agbese Akmanken call for proof. At the top, the Quran convention postponed indefinitely. You can find the story on page 26 of the daily of the Weekend Trust. Kennywood is here to say. Kennywood is here to stay, and that's from Mabiu Dashi. You can find that story on page 21. Tinubu, Obasanjo, Buhari mourn as Adebanjo dies at 96. You can find that story on page 5. GIS disputes over land titles persist despite computerization. 23 die, 48 injured in Kano auto crash. That story is on page 25. USAID funded Boko Haram, other terror organizations. U.S. Congress.
How crazy is that?
Congressman, that story is on page. Not surprised.
Okay, you want to explain? Expatiate, please.
So we already know from the beginning of our democracies, and by our, I mean the African states and even more developing countries or underdeveloped countries, that one of the reasons why they are the way they are is simply because the developed countries or the first world have always meddled in our
affairs.
Not just in our affairs, but also in our
governance
quest for not just independence, but also development. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, the UK, the United Kingdom, has also, I think, I can't remember the particular year now, but they also put out statements that they were kind of instrumental in the destruction of our first democracy as well. So, not new, not surprised, calling me shocked.
Well, it was a big event, let's put it that way. Let's move on now. We've got the Saturday Independent here for you, and front and center for Saturday Independence, Nigerians Monafenifere leader Ayo Adebanjo. That's making its round across all pages this morning. And police in Rivers arrest man for hacking friend to death over missing phone. They were never friends. That on page 7. On page 5, find 67.35% obtain credit in math, English as NECO releases 2024 SSCE external results. Is that good? 67.35? I'm not sure, but that's close to 50%. I think we used to do better back in the days, but I can't be too sure on that one. OB celebrates Valentine's Day with Reverend Sister donates 25 million naira to school. Grace. Thank you. And Adegoke's murder 4 years after Ife Hotelier laments death of patronage. But of course, I mean, why wouldn't there be a lot of people coming over to your hotel? Because you want me to go? Let me know. Let's not go there. He says Adedoin's Hilton Hotels under lock and key. Admission into tertiary institutions owned by him dropped drastically, of course, says former student. And still at the top, motherhood, the most profound transformative experience of my life since turned to decay, yay. And Tinubu approves upgrade of Yabatech to university. Congratulations to everybody who's in Yabatech. I don't know if it will start to read on their certificates from now, or maybe it's the new entrance, but Yabatech has been on this one for a very long time, decades, in fact. So congratulations to them.
Congratulations to them.
Yeah, I think they deserve it. I think the school actually outperforms some universities even here in Lagos. So
nice. But there's one thing I like about whenever I drive through Yabatech is just looking at all of the art and the fact that that place is still and should be a home to some of the biggest creatives in terms of sculptural art and visual art and the likes.
It's grand.
Yeah. Away from Saturday Independence, we move to our next paper for today as we pull it up on our screen there for you. There we go. And it's the Saturday Tribune. The very first one that jumps at you there, Fenifere leader Ayo Adebanjo dies at 96. Nigeria has lost a leader committed to justice, democracy, and that's from Tinubu there. It was a paragon of integrity, that's from Olowojebutu. He prepared us for his passing, that's from his daughter there. Adebanjo was a committed nationalist, and that's from Pa Obasanjo, the former president of Nigeria. He was an unshakable believer in Nigeria's progress, and that's from Anyoka. And Fasanoti says he was a patriot par excellence. You can find the story on pages 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the Saturday Tribune. Bandits abduct chief imam, wives, and children in Zamfara. You can find the story on page 9. I am Ojuku's successor. All Ezes, Obis are under me. Lagos-based Eze Buru. You can find that story on page 19. Moving down to the bottom there, Adebanjo's last interview with Tribune. Even when I'm dead, I will keep fighting. You can find that story on pages 16 and 17. At the bottom there, 2027. Let's go for college presidency, ACF chieftain Bugaje. You can find that story on page 20. All this talks about 2027, and they have not even passed the appropriation bill into law yet. Can we all just drink water first and just sit down? Do we do that? No?
Let's be calming down.
Let's be, you know what I mean? Like, can we just relax, okay?
Do we have time for more papers? I'm hoping. So we're going to go on now to The Guardian for this morning. The Guardian this morning has this headline, once again, making its reappearance here for The Guardian is Ayo Adebanjo 1928-2025, exit of unrepentant Aoist, rights activist, political advocate. And that takes the entire front page of The Guardian. At the very top, we have Yoruba Muslim tasks, Tinubu on fairness, inclusion in political appointments, and when Governor Abdulrazak silenced opposition with inauguration of legacy projects. That's all for the front page of The Guardian. Just 3 items there. I think mostly paying honor to the late Adebanja here.
A very sad passing indeed, but may his soul rest in perfect peace. We'll move now to the Saturday Times, where we have this story. Just give me a sec. It says Nigerians access 20 billion credit fund to acquire locally made tricycles and motorcycles. Why?
Not a bad idea, locally made, because that improves on helps with jobs, jobs creation locally. I also hear that can't remember who's assembling Peugeot cars in Kaduna now, which long overdue. Used to happen back in the 70s and 80s, but to have, I think is it Dangote? I can't remember who. It was in the news yesterday, but there's assemblage going on in Kaduna.
I don't support it. Lawmaker, how about they take this 20 billion credit fund and then channel it into locally produced, locally made renewable energy things like solar panels, batteries. I feel like that's more, pushing the envelope and also moving in terms of the trajectory of global markets in the world.
All right, now I'm going to stop you there and say this. If you realize what's happening in the world now, tariffs on imports or exports, especially with the whole dynamics with Donald
Trade
Trump.
war,
Yeah. Now you have to realize countries have to get independent. Africa especially countries like Nigeria who can actually service other countries. So if you have a car assembly here in Nigeria, you start to export vehicles out to other countries here in Africa. That makes you the spot.
All right, but then when you're exporting exporting cars, electric cars are now also at the frontier.
I'm not saying that is not relevant. I'm just saying we already had an assemblage plant.
Of?
The Peugeot assemblage plant.
Oh, so
so why don't we just use that? Let's kick off with that. While we're trying to get our renewable energy manufacturing unit.
I don't know, if you're accessing a credit fund of 20 billion naira, you might as well want to strategically position yourself to what the
we
market
should have
is
this conversation with an economist actually and see what the potentials are, if you ask me.
All right. Well, this is very quick because we're almost out of time here. Insecurity mitigating immunization in Plateau State. That story is on page 11. Lawmakers cautions UN Parliament on global taxation. That story is on page 2. Young, famous and African cast backs Annie Dibia amid two Baba splits. That story is on page 19. Pa Adebanjo was a fearless freedom fighter, says Atiku. You can find that story on page 5. INEC loses office to fire in Sokoto. That story is on page 5. Global LNG imports surge to 12-month high amid strong European demand. And that story is on page 5. And lastly, electoral reform. CSOs urge Tinubu to implement UAS's report. You can find all the stories on the Saturday Times. Pretty much all that we can take for this. Oh, I didn't know it was on there. Pretty much all we can take for this time. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we get started proper on the show this morning. Stay with us.
Now, it's that time of the year, at least it was only just yesterday, when love is in the air. And so in the, sound of ringing cash registers, cha-ching, cha-ching, from romantic dinners to perfume, jewelry, and even luxury getaways, Nigerians went crazy on Valentine's Day, as we always have for years. But what's the real price of love? This year, 85.6% of Nigerians say they were celebrating and spending, what you could call it's short up compared to last year's spending. In fact, a third of consumers are budgeted between 51,000 naira and 100,000 naira, while high-end spending above 500,000 naira was nearly tripled. That's for yesterday's spend for Valentine for those who have the liquid cash to do so.
So, what's driving this surge? Is it inflation, social media pressure, or just good old-fashioned romance? And more importantly, is Valentine's Day a boost to the economy or just a drain on our wallets? I would say the latter. Anyway, to break it all down, because I'm not the expert, we're joined by an analyst from SBM Intelligence. She's Bumi Bailey, and she has our latest report examining the spending trends and economic impact of Valentine's Day in Nigeria. Bumi, how was Valentine's Day for you?
It's fine.
So
I was at home.
Which part of set of people were you the 100,000 naira spend or 500,000 a heavy spender? Nobody spent that much on you? How couldn't they?
You can go, you cannot. If you don't answer the question. But anyway, your research shows there was a sharp increase in spending this Valentine's Day, and we're seeing that this past Valentine's Day there was projected to be a sharp increase in spending. So, what are the key factors that was driving this trend?
Okay, so there are actually two factors that actually drove this trend. Like stated in our report, one major factor is inflation. I mean, you talked about how, let's say, almost 86% said that they were going to spend more and celebrate this year compared to last year, right? And then from that percentage, you will see that about 33% also said they were going to spend between 51,000 to 100,000, and that is an increase from about maybe 10,000 to 50,000 last year. So you can see that inflation has played a part. I mean, last year inflation averaged around 3.2% from about 24% in 2023. So inflation has been a major factor why they actually want to spend more. But another interesting thing that we actually discovered was actually the social media too was actually driving these trends. I mean, if you've noticed, the COVID-19 pandemic, in a way, made a lot of retailers and online vendors to actually showcase their products online. For example, like Instagram, before TikTok started coming in maybe like 2-3 years ago. So what these retailers are doing, what they try to do is that, they say that purchasing power is very weak. How do they influence or entice consumers to spend? And Valentine's Day is that special occasion compared to other holidays like maybe birthday, Christmas, Ramadan holiday, or maybe these other Islamic different holidays and occasions, right? So they actually want them, okay, what do I do to actually drive sales? So what I can do that is social media. Okay, apart from using the Instagram platform and TikTok, what do I do? Do I do combo deals, right? Or maybe do I just do a single sale? So what they are now trying to do is they are now being innovative and creative. So they are now doing combo deals. And what I mean by combo deals, what I'm actually talking about is more or less like, all those 4-in-1 pack, 2-in-1 pack, like maybe you have a pack, you have roses, you have wristwatches, you have perfumes actually at affordable prices, and that actually goes well when you know that your wallet, your budget is tight. So if a consumer says that, this is actually everything, I have like 4-in-1, it actually means that you're actually being considered and you know that my pocket is tight.
There's a trick. You're actually not giving more, you're just giving conveniently.
Exactly. So that's
interesting. Now, first of all, you said that it's increase in spend, but not necessarily purchasing power. So the money might have gone up, but what it could buy is less. But how does that compare to the past Christmas? Dirty December was only just, Judith was all over Lagos in traffic, mostly.
Oh, goodness, my favorite time.
But Dirty December, when you compare it to Valentine, because not too long ago, I think it was the state governor who was talking about the potentials of Dirty December and the fact that this could be an all-year thing spread across all 12 months where Lagos specifically can actually make plenty of money. So if we compare it to that, is there a possibility of getting that kind of spend on during all the holidays, Easter, Valentine's, whichever ones we have all through the year? What could make it happen? What factors could make it happen?
Okay, so are you talking about factors that can actually drive more sales?
More sales during holidays.
Okay, so I mentioned that, I don't know if I should use Valentine here.
Go ahead, please. It's the season.
So it's a special occasion, especially for e-commerce. That's why I brought the aspect of social media right now. Okay, so I talked about the aspect of being a special occasion, right? Okay, so now that it's a special holiday for e-commerce, right? It's a time that you see a lot of consumers making a lot of purchases online. So to the retailers and the online vendors, they'll be like, okay, fine. How do I do to tap into that opportunity? And one way I can actually think of is actually more or less like optimizing their online channels, right? That's one way they can actually boost sales. Right. So when they optimize their online channels, they actually help to enhance the shopping experience for consumers. Because when I'm on social media, it's like as if I'm in the store, but I'm not like physically in the store, but I can actually see. So another thing is that when you now make that shopping experience convenient for me, it's easy for me to actually make more purchases, and buy your product.
Oh, so I get what you're saying. Forgive me for stopping you there. I just wanted to. So you're saying that e-commerce was actually, or digital media is a big factor in helping these businesses during these times.
Yes.
But now if you add, Judith, listen to this one, tariff hike. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, I put a wrench in your words there.
That is why a lot of buzz and noise has been around the tariff hike, because when I first thought about it, I told myself, what about the content creators? Because if you see, even retailers are now becoming content creators. Yeah,
but you have to.
Let me use for example, like the lady I buy my wigs from.
Which is fantastic, by the way.
Thank you very much. So, because wig is like a dictionary item, it's something you can forego. So, and she that sells the market, how do I make more sales? Oh, what do I do? Let me go online. And then I go to her Instagram. I notice that she's doing content, she's acting, she's doing all these skits. So that is actually what they are doing to drive sales. And now they have introduced a tariff hike. They're like, this is actually, how will I react? So that's why there's actually a big noise around it. So, yeah.
We also saw, away from the traditional, jewelry, perfumes, the thing I hate is food trays. I need everybody to throw that thing away.
You don't like it?
It's just not hygienic. All right? Salmonella poisoning, throw it away. Throw the whole thing out. Anyway.
What's the little parasite in between us and love? Come on.
So besides the food trays, the perfumes, the jewelries that we're seeing, and those gift boxes we're also seeing experiential, spending where, people are going out for, dining experiences, 5-course experience. Yesterday there's a nice spot that had teddies just everywhere. It was so fascinating. It was so beautiful. But seeing that, and then we're seeing fine dining come up in Lagos. New spots are opening every day. And so what exactly is now changing consumer behavior to gravitate towards that?
So what I can actually say is the aspect of the digital e-commerce. So let me use other countries, for example. Maybe I should use US. Apart from the food, perfume, although you can't blame them because the consumer's budget is actually tight. They're looking at what they can afford. So away from that, how do I go beyond those that? I mean, how can I make this day special for my partner? I go online, I see US, I see spas, I see dinner dates, I see resorts, right? But the problem is that when we looked at our survey, maybe like 20% said that they were going to do all kinds of vacation and spa treatment because, like I said, it's very expensive. And also, about 5% also plan that they would, it's the weekend, so they are still going to spend more. Right? They said they were going to do between 500K and above compared to 1.5, about 2% that actually spend around that. So yes, consumer trends are actually changing, right? So what they now want more is that, okay, fine, apart from the food, the perfumes, okay, what other experience can you do for me? If it's maybe a spa, or a photo shoot or more experience, they should go towards that aspect. So maybe by the next year, when we do our next survey, we'll be able to see more on that. But the problem is that these things are on the high side. They're expensive, right? So if purchasing power improves, right, there's a projection that inflation would slow down or moderate this year. The president has said,
don't jinx it. Let's don't let them hear, because anything could happen to these items.
Exactly.
Regarding the price hike in the items, let's take a look at these items. From your report, items that people would want to purchase or purchase the most with perfumes, mostly popular items, with nearly 80% of respondents planning to spend on these. Food and perfumes, food trays.
Oh no.
Food trays and perfumes. Perfumes are always
exactly,
great.
and you see them like the trays.
I hate those things. Oh my God.
No, it's not
just a one-day thing.
Exactly, and the fact is, they are being
Why is it covered with what's the name? The plastic wrap.
The bubble wrap. Celebration plans. Let's look at celebration plans. Respondents planning to spend on Valentine's Day. Okay, we talked about that one already. 85%. Up from 62%. So we are at a time in our economy where things are really bad. And there's a very funny, very opposite trend where instead of people saying, oh, I'm not going to go out and party, people actually want to party more. Is that a reason for that? Why people want to spend more at a time like this instead of say they're going to save more? You're smiling very slowly. It's sinister.
But it depends on the type of occasion you're talking about. It's like this Valentine. So I don't want to, maybe I don't know why I just like to smile, it's about romance and love, and
So romance thrives in bad economy?
No, I'm not saying it thrives in, I'm just saying that Nigerians will always find a way to smile in this economy. Do you understand? I mean, because we've let me even go back to inflation. Inflation was at single digits in 2016, I think about 9%, before it reached about double digits, right? And you know, people are not saving. They're just spending, and they don't have enough money to save again. So what do? They just have to try and enjoy their life. I mean, and hope for the best. So that is actually what is happening right now.
I hope my neighbor's gate man is not listening, because that man. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, and also, you know, I also talked about the aspect that societal pressure is not what actually influencing them to spend. It was actually surprising for me. Like, it was more like a personal sentiment thing. Oh, let me do this for my partner. It's just my own
these
feeling.
hard times.
Let me just put a smile to someone's face. And funny enough, Valentine is not always. I have the belief that it's not always all about romance, like
so there's
that.
potential
you
there.
have
there's big potential to make it even as big as December.
Exactly.
Because if the thought is, oh, people are going to definitely spend no matter the condition on their partners to show how much they love them in these bad times.
Or they're just trying to say sorry for all the bad times.
I mean, apologize.
So just one day
what happened to you yesterday?
Oh God, I had a swell time yesterday.
So there is potential there. How much advantage could, let's say, a city like Lagos take using this factor? If you put the element of partners in, that I would want to spend more for my partner during these occasions because of the bad times, how much advantage could be taken of that?
Okay, you're talking about the impact of the spending, right?
Yes.
Valentine. Okay, so since it's just a special occasion, it's an annual thing, I don't really see a long-term impact, but I see it as a short-term impact, especially for Nigeria currently. You know, I made mention of high inflationary pressures. A lot of businesses are struggling, right? So, and when I talked about the aspect of social media, helping them to boost sales, you know, this is more or less for them to gain revenue. So when you gain more sales, because looking at the value of, or we can't really quantify the value of Valentine sales in Nigeria, but I hear it runs into billions of naira. So and when you have more sales, you know, it leads to more capital. And when you have more capital, you have expansion. Apart from capital, you also have revenue. When you have more revenue, you'll be able to employ more staff, you'll be able to increase more staff. If you recall, I also add the hotel and retail sector, maybe I should just call the trade sector, is the second highest job employing sector in the country after agriculture. So it's actually going to do a lot within a short time. So by next year, I don't know what might happen. We might see more spending, but this spending is due to inflation. But another aspect is that retailers, retailers and also wholesalers have been very innovative by giving value packages to be able to entice consumers to spend more. So, and then also as to the aspect of Lagos State government actually improving the use of business environment for them. You know, we talked about the aspect of the tariff. I think they said MTN started.
Well, we don't want to mention.
I don't want to even go there.
I will give you 5. I will give you. Don't worry,
I don't know if, I think I heard the sense, please don't forgive or forget or
forgive and forget over the 200% hike in 15
I love the reaction to that thing. I love it.
Maybe
I took a few. I laugh. Whenever I'm like down, I just look at all those reactions and I just start laughing. I was one that scored it 0/10.
Especially for data. So that means we need to see a bit of improvement in the business environment, the cost of operating.
So you're projecting that more spending would happen in the coming years, and Valentine's Day, we're going to see an uptick in more spending, because in spite of our economic trajectory. But I have to ask you about, you know, with your study, we're seeing people spending 500K and above on Valentine's Day. We're seeing people whose budget is between 10,000 to 50,000 naira. And so it begs to ask a question about the economic inequality when it comes to Valentine's Day spending.
Yes. It actually, because if I break it down to you, right, I mean, a quarter said that they were going to do within 10 to 50, right? And 33 said they were going to do 51 and 100, and then 5% said they were going to do between 500 and above, right?
5%?
Yeah, you will not come and kill me.
And that is higher, like I said earlier, from 2%. Yes, the gap is widening.
And why is that? And that's what's shocking, right? And also takes me aback, because if you're saying that before, a year prior, just 2% of that were willing to spend 5,000 and it increased to 5%, are you saying that our purchasing power have increased?
No. Our purchasing power.
What do you think is driving that number?
No, our purchasing power, like if you,
peer pressure?
Not peer pressure, right? I mean, when you look at the the people we survey within Lagos, Abuja, yes, and Port Harcourt, right, within the age of 18 and I think 65. And most of them, they earn between, I think, 100 to 4, maybe like 200 to, 500. So I'm not actually saying that the purchasing power has improved. I'm saying that this is where the retailers come in here, right? They are the ones, because, I mean, trust me, even I, like for example, I wanted to also get myself a Valentine present because I was actually seeing a combo pack. I mean, you have wigs, you have flower, and then if you look at the bouquet of roses, no longer roses, it's now money, right? And then you have all these people that, okay, fine, instead of me just coming to give my partner that gift, why don't I get a business like this surprise factory, come and surprise my partner? So a lot of creative things are actually going on in that space. So that is actually what is driving purchase, not really the purchasing power is really improving.
It's very interesting that is what the focus is on, because it kind of like takes away what the focus used to be. I'll tell you, it'll surprise you. Let's get back to the, what's it called? Something about hotels being 11, as a choice of place to go being 11%. Why are you smiling so widely?
I know why. Because they're married.
It seems to be dropping.
Those are not their wives.
I don't know why it's just 11%. Well, cinema and I think shopping is above it, but it's only at 11%. Is it that hospitality is getting more expensive in places like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt?
Yes.
Let's talk about that and how that
could have been an advantage. Take that person home.
Yeah, so I would say it's expensive because if you look at places where they would want to spend, they said restaurants and it says cinema. If you look at these two places, they're actually affordable places. Although I have
restaurants affordable? Have you been out lately? Well,
it depends on the location.
Okay.
It depends on the location, right? It depends on, and then if you look, for example, I don't want to say all these quick service restaurants. No. Maybe I'm thinking of maybe one on the island.
Okay.
Right, but the thing is that I don't want to say the name, but they advertise the experience. So they give you it's just beyond the food, right? So they just give you, okay, fine, we have a buffet. That's another thing that's really
financial spending.
Yes, that's it. They have a buffet, we come and experience this, we have live music. So it's like 4 in 1. Why do I need to go to different places just for me to enjoy or celebrate it Valentine? Okay, why don't I just go to a restaurant? And you have a restaurant, you have music playing, you have comedy show, you have food of different
all in one place. It's an experience.
All in one place is an experience. So that is actually what.
So hotels are no longer experiences, or hotels are just simply dropping the ball when it comes to taking advantage of Valentine.
No, the hotels
or Judith, we're becoming more moral people.
Our taste is changing. That's what it shows. Our taste is changing. We're becoming evolved. Our taste is changing. Our taste is changing.
Apologies for that. Or the shotlets. The shotlets are one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The shotlets are one of them. The Airbnbs are another. And so those shotlets and those the short apartments as well are something that they are, going after, and they're going to spend too much time.
But it's expensive.
Same at the hotels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same for, like you rightfully put, they're all about location. Everything is location. And so, I mean, my final question for you then is, about, the personal sentiments, that are, when it comes to Valentine's Day, being the biggest driver of the spending that we've seen for this year, that was projected for this year. Do you think that our personal sentiments will change in the coming years, or do you think that social media will still continue to play a good factor in what we see in terms of consumer behavior coming next year?
No, social media will continue to shape, because apart from personal sentiment, social media was also another factor that actually influenced their spending decisions. So it's going to actually continue to play a big factor, but like
in terms of what? Advertising?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, so maybe I should give an example of what I'm talking about, social media. Instead of me, what I talked about, the aspect of the combo deals, this is where you actually advertise them on social media, right? Oh, maybe I have a plan. And the thing is that these guys actually do these adverts maybe few days or maybe 4 weeks to Valentine's Day. So I have time to save. You understand? Oh, I can actually see all the things I want, wristwatches, roses, wigs, everything in one pack. Why do I need to go up and down and to actually be more expensive? I can actually get everything in just one pack at affordable prices. So that is why social media will actually continue to influence. But my own is I just hope that, no, I don't know, I can't think of maybe any law or any charges. I just hope it doesn't affect the social, especially Instagram, right, and TikTok. Because TikTok has become a very fast, it's even, if I compare TikTok and Instagram, yes, fast rising. I mean, you see a lot. I mean, if I want to advertise my product, I go to TikTok. And they tell me, no, I go to TikTok and they tell me, go to my social media page. Okay. And then I'll just go to social media. And they have a lot of people, you know, a lot of people have mobile phones, and a lot of people are using social media.
I thought TikTok had not been able to crack marketing in terms of like ad placements. I thought they've not been able to crack it yet. That's in my opinion. You know, I don't think that they've been able to crack it then in terms of like ad placement the way Instagram and Facebook have cracked ad placement.
Okay, what I said was, when I talk about you have retailers becoming skit makers, content creators. So you can just, like I don't know why I'm making examples about this, my wig vendor, right? She would use her TikTok, she would act, you know, oh, this hair is rubby, like this hair, why are you using this wig? You know, she would, oh, get this new wig, and then, oh, go to my Instagram. So she immediately shifts you to go to Instagram to actually see the difference. So TikTok is more or less for content, right? For you to, fine, advertise my product through content, right? And then when you see that, tell you, oh, just go to my YouTube or go to my Instagram and go to my bio. And I heard that in TikTok, a lot of people get paid for content.
Interesting. So, yes. So, I mean, when we look at this from an economic standpoint, and we look at the entire sector in terms of, you know, hospitality, retail, and, you know, the vendors, who do you think are benefiting more from this, and how best can the others who are leaving money on the table? Because, you know, I think everyone can tap into this Valentine's Day. It's a one-day thing, but a lot of brands can tap in. A lot of other sectors from there. How can they best tap into this? How much money are they leaving on the table, and how best can they improve come Valentine's Day 2026? My God.
Okay, so I don't know why I want to keep repeating. I don't know. Is that I like social media?
Don't talk about your weave vendor again.
I'm not talking about Okay. So one way where I can actually think that what businesses in the hospital, because I see the benefits actually all around, like having a multiplier effects across different sectors, hospitality, entertainment, and retail. So one way I can think of that is that, you know, I talked about how they should actually optimize their online channels, right? So if they optimize their online channels, their shopping experience improves. Apart from optimizing their online channels, they should actually ensure secure payment platform, because that's a major factor, right? Another factor I can think of is reliable delivery services. That's one way I can think of. Then apart from that, they should actually have target their campaigns and promotion to specific demographics. When I mean specific demographics, I mean middle, upper, lower, right segments of the economy. Okay, what deals fit this sector? Do you understand? Whether it is student-friendly deals, whether it is family packages, or just luxury experiences. And apart from that, they should also encourage discounts for early birds, right? If you advertise a product for like maybe a month to Valentine or 2 weeks, give discount price, because that actually attracts the consumer to your product. And another thing I can think of is giving loyalty packages, which a lot of my think Shoprite or other retailers are actually doing. That's to entice them to come to your product. And then last year, I would also recommend, you know, I talked about the shift from just traditional gifting, go to experience. I would make reference to spa because I'm always seeing spa and results, right? Don't just give me a spa deal.
Right.
What dinner comes with it, right? Yeah.
Right. I mean, Bumi, must say thank you for taking our time.
Thank you, Bumi.
Bailey, she is an analyst.
We should bring it back to talk about the cracking social media for entrepreneurs.
Bumi, many thanks. Bumi Bailey, she's an analyst with SBM Intelligence, giving us a bit of insight for Valentine's Day spending, giving the report they just put out. We're going to go now. We're patching live crossing, I beg your pardon, to South Africa, rather to the African Union conference is ongoing now in Addis Ababa right now. We'll bring you the visuals.
Sheikh Al-Ghazwani, President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania and Chairperson of the African Union, Your Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Your Excellencies, heads of states and governments of African Union member states, Your Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Your Excellency Mr. Mahmoud Abbas Abu Mazin, President of the State of Palestine, Your Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Your Excellency Maya Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, Your Excellencies, distinguished former presidents here present, Honorable fairest ladies here present, Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellency Dr. Monique Nzanza Baganwa, the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Excellencies, Commissioners, and all the leadership of the Commission, Excellencies, Ambassadors, members of the Permanent Representatives Committee, Your Excellency Mina Wamakela, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, Your Excellency Madame Nardos Bekele Thomas, Chief Executive Officer of the African Union Development Agency, AUDA-NIPAD, Your Excellency Dr. Jan Kaseya, Director General of the Africa CDC, Your Excellency Ambassador Marie-Antoinette Roscatre, Chief Executive Officer of the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM, Your Excellency Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs of the Republic of South Africa, former Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Your Excellencies, heads of United Nations specialized agencies and international organizations here present, سعادة نائب الأمين العام لجامعة الدول العربية ممثل الأمين العام، Your Excellency Luis Moshikiu Abo, Secretary General of the International Organization of La Francophonie, Your Excellency Dr. Warkena Yibiho, Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, Your Excellencies, heads of COMISA, ECOWAS, SINSAT, EAC, ECAS, SADC, and UMMA, Your Excellency Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank Group, a strong believer of the African development and prosperity, Your Excellencies Dr. Benedict Oki Orama, President of the Afri-Exim Bank, Your Excellency Dr. Sidi Wildeta, President of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badia, Maali Sheikh Shakhbout Nahyan Al-Nahyan, Wazir al-Dawla بدولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة, Excellencies, Permanent Observer Representatives to the African Union, and Excellencies, representatives of our partners to the African Union, all protocol observed, members of the press, a very good morning to you all. It gives me immense honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of the 38th Ordinary Session of the AU Assembly of Heads of States and Governments, being held today at the Nelson Mandela Hall, the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, the capital of Africa. Addis Ababa, a vibrant city that has been at the heart of the Pan-African diplomacy and multilateralism, stands as a symbol of Africa's unity and progress. As a host nation of the African Union, Ethiopia plays a crucial role in fostering continental dialogue and advancing African integration. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the 38th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of States and governments of the African Union hold significant importance as it will oversee the elections of the chairperson and the deputy chairperson of the African Union Commission. Over the past years, the African Union has made remarkable progress in conflict resolution, mediation, and peacekeeping efforts, contributing to greater stability across the continent. Economic transformation has been further strengthened through the African Continental Free Trade Area and accession to the G20, contributing towards the implementation of Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, having said so, the program of today's opening ceremony will stand as follows. We will have a statement by His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, followed by a statement by His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, following which a statement by His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations. We shall then have a statement by His Excellency Mahmoud Abbas, President of the State of Palestine. Then His Excellency Mahmoud will Sheikh Al-Ghazwani, President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania and Chairperson of the African Union, will make his opening remarks. Immediately after that, we will call the Dean of African Ambassadors in Ethiopia to introduce the new Bureau, members of the African Union Assembly, following which we shall have the handover ceremony for the chairperson of the African Union. Then we will go to the launch of the African Union theme of the year, Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparations. Without any further ado, I have the great honor and privilege to invite His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, to deliver his statement. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency, President Mohammed Ould, outgoing Chairperson of the African Union, Your Excellency, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, outgoing Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Your Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, distinguished ministers, ambassadors, diplomats, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ethiopia, the cradle of Pan-Africanism and a proud champion of African unity and freedom. It is an honor to stand before you today as we reflect on the immense potential we hold, not just as individual nations, but as a united and dynamic continent. In a world marked by rapid change and multiple challenges, we find ourselves at the crossroads of uncertainty and opportunity. This moment calls upon us to strengthen our collective resolve, embrace resilience, and foster unity across Africa. The theme for this year's assembly calls on us to heal the scars of historical injustice and overcome lingering trauma that has long hindered our progress. The demand for reparations is not about charity or financial aid. It is a call for justice. It seeks to restore the dignity of millions and heal the deep scars of poverty, inequality, and discrimination. It demands an end to the systematic exploitation of our wealth, resources, and opportunities. It also calls for a transformative process that acknowledges past harms and takes bold steps to right the wrongs caused upon us, upon society across the continent. Thank you. Thank you. Most importantly, the call for reparations requires not just words, but concrete actions to affirm the equal worth of every human being. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to achieve lasting peace, justice, and prosperity, we must rise above the geopolitical tensions and the historical divisions imposed upon us by colonial borders. By fostering solidarity among all of our nations and embracing a shared destiny, we can pool our resources and talents to unlock our continent's full potential. Africa's cultural, ethnic, and linguistic diversity is a source of pride and strength upon which we must build inclusive governance and equitable development. Conflict resolution, diplomacy, and peace building must remain at the heart of our efforts. By championing African solutions to African challenges, we can secure lasting peace and stability. Let us celebrate our achievements in politics, science, economics, and arts. Strategic initiatives such as the African Continental Free Trade Area give us the tools to boost intra-Africa trade, reduce external dependency, and achieve self-reliance. With Africa's large and dynamic use, abundant natural resources, and growing technological innovations, we have all the means to ensure sustainable growth. The rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, particularly generative AI, offers unprecedented opportunities to transform our economies and societies. By collaborating in AI, fintech, renewable energy, and mobile technology, we can address shared challenges such as climate change, infrastructure gaps, and public health crisis. Africa's rich and diverse data sets are essential for training robust and inclusive AI models. This highlights the importance of African representation in shaping future technologies. However, as we embrace these advancements, it's essential to protect our data sovereignty, prevent digital exploitation, and develop homegrown AI solutions that reflect African values and contexts. As our data sets grow, so must our capacity to harness them for local and global good. When used responsibly, AI can be a powerful tool in conflict prevention, transparent governance, and inclusive development. Africa must actively participate in the global technology race to ensure we are competitive players in the evolving digital landscape, while also ensuring we benefit equitably from this technological revolution. Furthermore, Africa's voice on global issues must grow stronger, ensuring that we have a say in shaping governance frameworks and other much-needed reforms in the global order. By empowering grassroots movements, youth networks, and educational programs focused on digital literacy and technological innovation, we can inspire the next generation. This will ensure Africa stands not just as a beneficiary of a global advancement, but as a key contributor in shaping the future of humanity. Excellencies, the opportunities before us are immense. Ethiopia is determined to prosper, guided by a vision of vibrant democracy, sustainable economic growth, rich cultural heritage, social progress, and a deep commitment to environmental regeneration. To realize this goal, we have laid out a pragmatic roadmap rooted in the transformative principles of Madamar. Madamar, an Amharic term loosely translated as synergy, is our guiding philosophy. It is a homegrown ideology that promotes prosperity, unity, sovereignty, security, and national dignity. At its core, Madamar encourages social and economic advancement, celebrates diversity, and nurtures a spirit of community grounded in Ethiopia's rich culture, spirituality, and values. Reflecting on the progress of the past 5 years and building on the vision of Madamar, Ethiopia has made remarkable strides. Despite inheriting a nation deeply divided along ethnic lines, burdened by substantial debt, and facing numerous internal challenges, we have moved forward with determination. At the same time, we navigated a complex and ever-changing regional and international landscape. Yet, through resilience and cooperation, we continue to move closer to the realization of our shared vision of prosperity. Our achievements speak for themselves. Allow me to share a few highlights. We have reformed our political system, transforming into an inclusive multi-party framework that reflects the diversity of our nation. To deepen these reforms and foster cohesion, reconciliation, and peace, we are undertaking a national dialogue. On the economic front, we have built a resilient and diverse economy. Over the past 5 years, we have doubled our cultivated land, increasing. To deepen these reforms and foster cohesion, reconciliation, and peace, we are undertaking a national dialogue. On the economic front, we have built a resilient and diverse economy. Over the past 5 years, we have doubled our cultivated land, increasing crop production to nearly 700 million quintals, with the wheat accounting for 40% of this total. These efforts have strengthened food security and driven rural development. Today, Ethiopia is the largest wheat producer in Africa. Thank you. Across the country, our major cities are evolving into dynamic, culturally rich, and sustainable hubs. In education, we have established 40,000 kindergartens and primary schools to boost early childhood education. Additionally, we have launched a program to train 5 million coders to strengthen our digital economy. Furthermore, we strive to honor our heritage by restoring national sites, developing tourist destinations, and reclaiming cultural artifacts, fulfilling our duty as the guardians of our nation's treasures. These accomplishments reflect the unwavering spirit and resilience of the Ethiopian people and underscore our firm commitment to advancing Ethiopia's future. With its focus on unity, cooperation, innovation, and shared progress, Maddamar can serve as a guiding framework for our Pan-African agenda. By embracing its principles, we can forge a path toward a more just, equitable, and prosperous future for all Africans. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let us march forward with determination, harnessing the limitless potential of our continent and its people. The time is now to claim our future, build a legacy of equality and prosperity, and secure dignity for all. Let us be the generation that unites the continent and our diaspora in a shared vision of justice, prosperity, and peace. To conclude, I thank our outgoing chairperson, President Mohammed Ould, for his leadership and representing our organization on the global stage. Allow me to also warmly congratulate our newly chairperson, President Joao Lorenzo, and wish him success during his tenure. I would also like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed for his exemplary leadership as chairperson of the African Union Commission over the past 8 years. Throughout his tenure, His Excellency Musa Faki has shown unwavering commitment to Africa's development, peace, and integration, significantly strengthening the African Union's role in addressing the continent's challenge. I also extend my sincere thanks to him for being a steadfast friend of Ethiopia, supporting us not only during our times of success, but also in our moments of difficulty. Thank you, my brother. As we bid farewell to His Excellency Musa Faki, it is with great pleasure that I extend a warm welcome to our incoming chairperson of the African Union Commission here in Ethiopia. I am confident that under his leadership, we will continue to make great strides toward achieving our collective goals. I wish him every success during his mandate. Thank you for your attention, and I wish us all a fruitful summit. God bless Ethiopia. God bless Africa. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your statement, and thank you for the generous hospitality extended to our Excellencies, heads of states and governments, as well as distinguished delegates. Thank you.
Well, love is in the air still, or is it? Well, Valentine's Day means different things for different people. For some, it's all about romance, bouquets, chocolate, fancy dinners, and also heartfelt surprises. Well, maybe that's you. For others, it's just another way on the another day on the calendar. And let's not forget those who see it as a time to celebrate friendships. Self-love as well is another one, or even take advantage of those Valentine's discounts. Just go shopping. So, how are people, or how did they celebrate Valentine's Day yesterday? Are they feeling the love where they, or is it just business as usual for them? Well, we hit the streets to find out. Let's hear what people had to say for yesterday.
How are you?
I'm fine.
All right, so what's the name?
My name is Arike.
Okay, so how is Valentine's Day going for you?
It's fine. Let me just say it's fine, and it's kind of stressful.
Okay. But then I can see you with a cake, and there's a bag here, if you can see. So is this for your better half, or what is this for?
It's for a client. So I came here to deliver to someone.
So don't you have someone that is surprising you? Are you not giving anybody gifts? Are you single, or what is the situation?
I'm not single, I'm married. Oh. And we are very busy with work at this moment.
So as you are married, what does Valentine mean to you and your husband? How do you celebrate your Valentine with your husband?
To me, Valentine is a day to celebrate your loved ones. It's not only your partner. You can celebrate with your mom, your sister. It depends on how they are to you. So I can't say it's for your partner alone. You can celebrate with your friend. Do you understand? Because even today, I delivered to 2 sisters and a mother. So Valentine to me, just to celebrate your loved ones. That's all.
I can see it, you're smiling. So probably there's someone special out there that's done something special for you.
Everybody around me, they are special.
Everybody?
Yes.
A special person. Have you given gifts today? Have you received gifts?
I haven't received, yes, I received gifts.
Have you given?
No, not yet.
Why?
Because I don't have. But I will, though.
Okay. So today's my lucky day. I'm out on the street and this beautiful lady gave me this gift. What's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria is victorious today. How's Valentine going for you?
Well, so far so good. It's going fine, it's going well.
She's sounding too gentle for look at the gift now. Look at her hand. Show everybody. This is not just it's going well. Is this for a special person or is it for me?
It's for me.
This is scam. I don't agree. Who is this for?
Me, obviously.
Okay, you obviously. So you're out here celebrating Valentine. How do you feel? What does Valentine mean to you?
Well, it's a season of love, sharing love, and giving love.
This Valentine's Day, how is it going for you?
Well, it's just been normal because I don't really celebrate the Valentine. I just came out for my sister's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no special person gave you a gift today? You did not give any special person a gift?
No.
Why? Are you single Pringle?
No, but like the distance relationship stuff, so yeah.
You can still send and dispatch riders are working.
I don't know.
Have you received any gift today? Have you given out gift today?
No, we have not received any gift though. We just were coming out to buy a burger so that we can just chill out. Not that we may not be like say we just day out, so.
So the single Pringle celebration, have you?
Yeah.
May they no oppress you.
May they no oppress us. May not be like say we just stay for house now. So we say just come and buy a burger. So it's not like say we say no day town. Say but after they go on.
But we hope this will be your last Valentine single.
Yeah, so it's going to be the last Valentine single. It's going to be the last Valentine that I'm not going to get a gift. So it's going to...
But have you given out any gift?
Not yet. I'm not giving anybody any gift. So
they say when you give, you receive.
Yes, and now that's if the person is worth it.
For now, you don't have anybody that is worth it.
I have, but no money, Sha, no money.
It's been going nice. It's been going calm and beautiful.
Okay. That's nice. Been nice, calm, beautiful. Have you been gifted today? Have you given gifts out today?
Yes, I'm giving out gifts today and I've as well been gifted today.
Do you think giving gifts during Valentine, it defines love or defines a relationship?
I don't think Valentine is special. Yeah, it's a special day of course, but doesn't have to be Valentine before you give a gift. You get, so you can give any day, because love is not something like you define with one day.
It doesn't have to be pinned to Valentine. You can give gifts at any time.
And does it have to be to your partner alone?
No, it doesn't have to be to your partner alone, your friends, your loved ones, your family, that's all. It's a season of sharing love. So even the beggars on the streets, people on the walkway, your security man and all of that.
Okay.
I can't say, but to me it's no. Because I think this love everything is from the heart. There are some people that will give to their partner 500, 1 million naira today. At the end of the day, this night, they will still beat themselves. So what's the essence of gifting this someone that you will punish later? So there's no need, I beg. The only thing I think that if you love your own, my husband loves me and I can say it. So, and he's not a gift person. Even on my birthday, he will never gift me. he prefer to give me money. He will never buy something for me, and I love it. Every woman loves gifts. Do you understand? So
You love money.
I love money and I love gifts.
It is now. It's part of the relationship.
Okay, so you must give your partner gifts on Valentine's
You
Day.
can afford it. It's not necessary. If you can afford it, if I can afford it, no problem. It's fine.
Basically, Valentine is not the only day you can gift anyone, or you don't have to necessarily tie gifting to Valentine's Day. We know that gifting should be our lifestyle. We should learn to give out to people, give out to the poor, give out to your friends, your loved ones, just to show how much you celebrate and cherish them. So bringing out Valentine's Day is just a medium to teach people how to actually gift out. And you don't have to give too much. It doesn't have to be elaborate.
Yes, it's important, but it's not that it should only based on Valentine. Your partner can give you gifts, even when it's not Valentine. Like it's just normal, but on Valentine, it should make it more special, that kind of thing. So it's not really like if your partner don't have no pressure, so that one is a different thing also. But you don't have to pressure anybody that is a must to give me gifts or anything like that. So it's just a normal day though, but may not be like say everybody just they carry and put for head. So if you have, you can give, but if you don't have, don't pressure yourself. Nothing less than.
Okay, she's having a good time. She came out to enjoy with her friend. Don't worry, I'll pray for you. This will be your last Valentine single.
Amen.
Well, there you have it. Lots of people who, well, told us about their Valentine's Day, but that's so unfair because we didn't start from in-house. So let's do that already. Coming to you now, Judith. How was your day?
Oh, it was a day. It was special as always. I mean, yeah, it was good.
No special outing, no online shopping.
You know me now. I never give the deeds.
Yeah. And when did you get back home this morning? Last night?
I had to get back early so I could leave again. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, wondering what yours was like. Perhaps maybe you'll tell us somehow. We're waiting to hear, and we hope that it was fantastic. In any case, let's take a short break before we resume back into discussions here for Breakfast Extra. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, the political climate in Edo State is heating up as Governor Monday Okpebholo faces mounting allegations challenging the legitimacy of his administration. The September 21st, 2024 governorship elections, which brought him to power, is under intense scrutiny. The People's Democratic Party contends that the election was marred by irregularities, including overvoting and assets that the All Progressive Congress is struggling to defend results in court. Conversely, the APC maintains that the election was free and fair, dismissing the PDP's claims as unfounded.
And now to delve deeper into this controversy, we have with us Chris Nahi Keri. He is the Publicity Secretary of the PDP in Edo State. I would also want to inform you that we were supposed to have the Publicity Secretary for the APC in Edo State, and that's Mr. Lawrence Oka, but unfortunately, we've not been able, got a hold of him, but it looks like he may not be joining us during this course of this conversation. But let us also extend a right of reply as we start this conversation that the APC is more than invited to please come and take their own side of it, because we're looking for, our goal here is a balanced conversation as much as possible. But Mr. Chris, many thanks for joining us, and again, once again, our apologies for keeping you waiting. But let's just get right into it, because we understand that you're pressed for time. Now, the PDP has alleged that the September 21st election was rigged, citing instances of overvoting and result manipulation. And I mean, if you were to provide us, specifics supporting these claims, let's start there.
Well, first and foremost, I think thank you very much for having me this morning. And I'm actually glad to be here, and we are always happy to let the Nigerians know what exactly happened on September 21st last year. And from the evidence we see, from reports, from the reporters, from all the newspapers and everybody that is doing it, telling independent, I think that's where you can get the true story from. You can see that PDP was actually very prepared for the election. You can see that PDP won that election with the lawful votes. And now what has happened is that INEC became an accomplice in the House. They deliberately falsified results. they deliberately refuse to fill in certain forms that are supposed to be filled in while elections are about to take place. They deliberately change results for the beneficiary of the APC candidates. And these are the things we have proven in courts with documents, even from the same INEC. We've got documents, result documents, as in the certified copies of the results that were uploaded into the IRL. I think for clarity, this is as soon as the elections are finished at the unit level. Once you count the results, once you determine what the results are, then snap it and upload to INEC IRL. And that is how election results are monitored. And as a party and as the people in Edo State, we have no problem at all with the election in terms of the vote violence. We were not even complaining about the vote violence, of course, but we're not complaining about that because at the unit level, it was almost well properly organized. By the time about 95–96% of the unit level results have been uploaded to IRL, of course, both parties have their situation rooms where they monitor these uploaded results, and all Nigerians also have access to that website. And then when you add up the results from each of the local governments across the state, PDP was coasting to victory, and we were in celebratory mood. And then the APC and INEC, when it dawned on them, that in spite of their negative campaign, in spite of the amount of money they have spent, and in spite of the vote buying that they were losing, APC, now in collusion with INEC, now decided to start formulating results. And that is why we are challenging results that came out from the coalition centers.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Enake,
errors were made. For instance, where PDP had, let's say, 70 votes, APC 39 votes, the INEC man at the coalition point just add 4 to the APC votes to make 439. This was arbitrary. When you add up the results from the units, it definitely at no time did these results add up to what we had at the coalition center. And that is why we are in court. We have documentary evidence. All the results from the unit level, all the results from the IRL, all these are certified by INEC. And we help them to do the calculation properly in case it was by mistake they made with errors. So as they correct it, I'm not asking the tribunal to do. Look at these, make this correction, and then declare the person that has the highest number of legal votes.
Okay, Mr. Nehikari. Mr. Nehikari, now you were one of the people that, you were actually the person that put out that claim. However, I'd like to know what the PDP or what even your interpretation of the tribunal's proceeding thus far is regarding the admission of overvoting.
The definition of overvoting is when the number of accredited voters is less than the total number of votes that are recorded into the result sheets. For example, we all have time, when the voting started and when the voting ended, we all have time to be there and we did our viewers to verify and control the number of the voting. And like in my unit, about 120 of us were accredited as voters. Now, when you add the total sums of the voters from all the political parties, APC, PDP, Labour Party, and all that, when you add the total number of votes, it must not exceed 120. Because even from ECHA, it's asked number of accredited voters. It also asks number of voters in the unit, because all the units have the total number of voters.
Mr. Nehikari.
Everybody will come out.
Mr. Nehikari.
People about 500 registered voters, but about 120 of us.
Now, Mr. Nehikari, I had earlier asked what your interpretation of the tribunal's proceeding is regarding this case of overvoting. Does it buttress the points that the PDP was trying to make from before?
Certainly. It was clear. Now, in areas where, like the example I gave you earlier, where I talked about adding 4 to make 435, but you will still see that it was not even clever enough to change the number of accredited voters. So now, when you see accredited voters 120, And then you are seeing the number of voters, because we added 40, we're now getting almost 600. And then it's clear that there was a manipulation and inflation. And then that is what is being defined as the overvoting. And then we have said, wherever this overvoting is noticed, wherever it has taken place, the role and the electoral act is clear. Those votes or the vote from that unit is cancelled. And that's what we're asking for. Cancel these votes wherever overvoting is taking place. You cannot have 120 votes accredited and then you have total number of votes 600. It's impossible unless, of course, we have manipulated it. And that is the crux of our case. And we have done that calculation. Our experts have done it, different people have done it, and they've all said that INEC actually made grave errors and now the wrong person of the winner document. And that's what we're asking Tribunal to do. Correct this error made by INEC and declare Okpebholo as the winner of the election.
Speaking of these errors that you're talking about, specifically when it goes to the results, INEC was unable to present any witnesses to defend the election results from September 21st, 2024 for the off-cycle elections for the Edo gubernatorial elections. It just makes me wonder what implications this may have for the PDP's case.
I think what it has done is has confirmed our case. If INEC had not made mistakes, INEC would have brought witnesses to tell the court, to tell Nigerians that these are the correct results. But they knew that they made grave errors, that they knew they made great mistakes. And that is why they could not call any witness. They are the ones that provided us with the cities in the certificate copies of the results, of the reviewers, of the IRL, and for the coalition and all the results. They gave them to us. And those are the things we gave to the court as our evidence. Now, INEC also now gave those same things to the court as evidence. Now, but of course, they dare not brought somebody to come and contradict their own documents. But they gave it to us. We have told them, look, maybe you made a mistake, maybe you did deliberately, but whatever has happened, this result will not reflect the true result. And INEC is supposed to come out, all God blame to say, Your Honor, my Lord, we brought these are the true results. But they did not, they could not. Because they be caught in the lie and they be caught in stealing. Okay. And that is why we think the judges, the tribunal, the judiciary must take this thing very seriously to stop any other thing like this happening ever again in Nigeria.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the judiciary. Would you say you have faith, or does the PDP have faith thus far in the tribunal?
As a political party, our candidates and deputy candidates being lawyers, we have implicit faith in the judiciary. We have no other option but to go to the court to seek redress. There's nothing else we can do. So we believe that with evidence provided, because they've made it easier for the petitioner this time around for the electoral law.
Okay.
That these things are evidence-based. And we have provided the evidence to prove every single point we have made. And
so to be clear,
we'll look at it dispassionately and make the right decision.
So to be clear, you have faith in the tribunal. However, what would happen in case the tribunal does not go in the favor of the PDP? What other legal action could the PDP take?
There's the tribunal, there's the appeal, and there's the Supreme Court. Those are what is known to law, the law of this country. And as a political party, we will abide by the law because we believe and we know that with the evidence we have given and with the caliber of people that have managed the judiciary, especially at this point in time, we believe we reach the right decision. So there's no other alternative but to the right decision to be reached at all times, especially in this case, so that other elections are not disrupted. So that people can trust the electoral system to elect their leaders. So that people, we are helping people don't want to come out to vote now, not because they don't want to determine their leaders are, but because they believe the system does not allow them to determine who their leader will be. But when the courts come out this time around to put a stop to this kind of shenanigans, I can assure you, you will get more voters coming out to vote to exercise their franchise. And then we'll have a better democracy and have a better way to elect leaders that will lead us. And the quality of leadership is definitely
2023. So the judiciary has a serious role to play, and I believe they are playing that. We have a new CTF, we have people that grew up under the military regime and resisted democracy, resisted dictatorship. We don't want it to happen now under democracy.
Speaking of the electoral process itself, and particularly the electoral umpire, INEC, in this situation, and their failure to present a witness to back up the elections declaration for September 21st, what do you think the next step will be now, either for the APC or the PDP moving forward in this tribunal proceedings? What is the PDP preempting from both parties?
I'm sorry, I lost you.
Oh, I was asking about, the PDP in terms of the actions that the PDP expect from the INEC or APC moving forward, just regarding this tribunal proceedings, as the INEC was unable to bring forth a witness to back the election declaration results for September 21st, 2024.
Well, first of all, I think at this stage in Nigerian democracy, at this stage of our development, any organization that is supposed to superintend elections and these kinds of complaints, this kind of petitions coming out, and then you refuse to come and defend it, I think first of all the management of the organization should be arrested and prosecuted. It's clear. If it happened in an office, in the private sector, if it happened there, the management will have been dealt with by now. But we cannot allow government to be where people get away with murder. Serious action will be taken. Yes, I remember the chairman of INEC, just before the Ondo State election, he did say they have learned from the mistake they made in the door at the point of collation. I think that answers the question. I think INEC should have also gone back and brought the witness, and brought the chairman of the witness, to also tell the tribunal, yes, we made mistakes in the door. I made assertion to that when we were conducting Ondo. It should have come out to say it. Not deny and push the ball to APC. APC, all the did was probably, it's alleged that APC influenced INEC to do that. And that is why APC is the beneficiary of this fraud. So it should be done. Now, only recently, a professor in Akwa Ibom State was sentenced to prison for this kind of thing. And it shouldn't end there. At this point in time, I expect that the people who did the collation, who did the adding up of this wrong number, they should be charged to court already. We don't have to wait for the courts to determine whether PDP won or APC won. But once that is established, if it has been that collation was wrong, was deliberately changed, those people responsible, we know their names, we know who they are. They should be by now be with police, making statements, and the process for their prosecution should have begun.
Now,
that's how we see it.
Mr. Nehikari, we actually were hoping to have the APC representative here, but we couldn't have them. I was going to ask regarding the reaction from the APC regarding the tribunal witness who told about overvoting, but unfortunately he's not here. But would like to say thank you very much, Mr. Chris Nehikari, for giving us your morning and having this conversation with us. We'll continue to come back for more detail regarding this as the tribunal continues.
Healthcare system is in distress. Overworked doctors, poor working conditions, and a mass migration of medical professionals, often referred to as the Japa Syndrome. They have left hospitals struggling to provide adequate care. The consequences: overcrowded facilities, doctor shortages, and an increasing burden on the remaining healthcare workers.
And what must be done to fix this crisis? Well, today we speak with a key stakeholder at the heart of the issue, Dr. Benjamin Olowojebutu, the first Vice President of the Nigerian Medical Association. He joins us to shed light on the struggles doctors face daily, the impact on patient care, and the urgent reforms needed to salvage Nigeria's healthcare system. You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today again. How are you?
Grand.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yes, indeed you have it. We're also going to be joined by another guest, but first off, we're going to kick off with the doctor in the studio here. How bad is our system currently? Let's start from there before we start to nitpick.
Very, very, very bad. I don't think it's getting better. I think every day there's a push and pull factors that is sending people away from our country, which means, you know, people have access to an enabling environment abroad. They see how life is. They can eat properly. They can send their children to proper schools, you know, because they are being appreciated for what they work for. But in this country, we don't see that happening yet, where doctors work so hard and earn so little, and there's a lot of issues happening around accountability. So you tell us about budgeting in healthcare in Nigeria. You say this is how much money you use for budgeting, infrastructure, remuneration, training. But those budget doesn't translate into affecting the life of doctors or healthcare workers in the country. So you see this very big budget, but you don't see the real work. So for example, you say you have a federal teaching hospital. A teaching hospital is not to train people. I get to my point, training people. So you now have departments in the hospital that don't have doctors. So what are you training? Why is it called a federal teaching hospital? So you create a budget for that training, but they're not doctors who are to train. So the effectiveness of our budgeting system must be looked at. Number two is that you have to look at the WHO ratio. Normally it's just one doctor to 600 patients. That's the standard. But right now we have one doctor about 7,000, 8,000 patients because of the mass exodus of doctors in this country. And we're not addressing the real issues. Welfare of these medical doctors, welfare of the healthcare workers. Nobody's talking about it. You know, we have great ideas, lots of ideas about how to improve access to healthcare. But who's going to give this access to the healthcare? You can't give access. You can't say you're accessing patient care, rural communities. You have 7 for local government in Nigeria. You want one doctor per local government. But are you saying what are the adequate remuneration for these doctors? Safety nets? Are they going to be kidnapped? Are they going to be harassed? Are they going to, do they have insurance, life insurance? Doctors die at call of duty, and after that, that's all.
Speaking of which, there was one such instance, wasn't there?
Yes, indeed. Well, we're now joined by Dr. Victor Alamu Oalani. Hopefully I got that correctly. He joins us from Birmingham, UK, live. Doctor, many thanks for joining us. We appreciate you for doing this with us. We've got 2 medical doctors, much more younger, all the way from the UK, and here with us in Nigeria as well. And we're going to come to you about the story that trended regarding the doctor that died. Can you give us a bit of a backstory, because that's really what sets the premise for this discussion today?
Good morning to everyone, and thank you for having me. About the doctor that died, Dr. Joseph Madu. 3 days ago, we got the news that Dr. Joseph Madu, who was a dedicated Nigerian doctor, news was circulating of his death, and it was attributed to the fact that he had a chest pain, and unfortunately he sought for a sick leave, which was denied. That led to his unfortunate death. But I think this is the right avenue to clarify, because after the story went haywire, and haywire, I decided to ask, close family members or those who were close to Dr. Joseph Madu to see the real story behind it. And what we came up with was that unfortunately, this is not one of those incidences where we have a medical doctor succumbing to stress as we have had in the past. And I think it's best that we take it from now on that Dr. Joseph Madu did not die because of that story. There is indeed a doctor who was sick and sought for a sick leave but was denied. That in itself is an issue to discuss, which is paramount to our discussion today as well. But I just thought that it's best. He was sick 2 months ago. He fell ill, and later on he was given. He has been on leave. He decided to come back to work himself, and afterwards despite all efforts by healthcare professionals to save him, he died eventually. But this doesn't stop the fact that there are a lot of doctors in the past that have died due to this stressful working condition in Nigeria. Over prolonged working hours, they are overburdened with work, they are underpaid, they are undervalued. I mean, if you look at in September 2022, we've had, a report in Lagos where 3 senior medical doctors in Alimosho General Hospital were reported to have died under what colleagues, described as demeaning circumstances. In same September 2023, there was a doctor in Lagos Teaching Hospital that died under a circumstance that was blamed on stress by his colleagues. He was on call for 72 hours without break. That was Dr. Michael Umo. There are also several deaths of, a 26-year-old female doctor who crashed, in a lift from a 10-story building in Lagos. All this shows you, the fault in our healthcare system that leads to these medical doctors, succumbing to death. Okay. Stories of doctors who have died due to, committing suicide and all of that. So
just a second. Let's come back into the studio here to talk with Dr. Benjamin and ask about these conditions that doctors in Nigeria actually are working in. What exactly are these conditions like? I heard you mention something about health insurance, which you would think that doctors shouldn't have a problem with because they're doctors themselves. And then this story of Dr. Madu, who passed away after being sick and being denied sick leave. What could cause an establishment to deny a doctor sick leave? Is it because of the volume of patients or work that's on ground?
You corrected that wasn't the right information. You just corrected it, because I also asked questions. He was sick. He had some bone marrow failure syndrome that happened to him, and he wanted to just come back to work as well. He was very bored, and after he came back to work, he had issues. But that doesn't stop the fact that this happens. Now, let me give you a scenario. The CMDs of hospitals most times are driven by profit, are driven by how much IGR they can make. They keep saying that they don't have adequate money to fund the system.
CMD
Chief Medical Directors, which are the people that are the federal government's appointees to run the hospitals. Federal government hospitals, basically, teaching hospitals, federal medical centers, federal institutions, as the case may be. Now, because they run the hospitals by IGR profit, most times they don't look at what is the extent of workload on those bringing those income. For example, let's assume 10 doctors in a clinic sees 1,000 patients on a Monday clinic, normally before, because they say one doctor maybe sees 100 patients. And you have that 10 doctors depleted to 5 doctors because of Japa, because of whatever, maybe they're retired and everything. Now you have 5 doctors now, but they still want that 5 doctors to see the same 1,000 patients. One, you're going to stress the doctors. You're going to make them make mistakes because they're going to be tired. They're not the adequate seeing of the patient properly. Because you are driven by profit, you don't think about it. So for me, I say leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those you are in charge of. How well do you make them see that patients, and tell the public, sorry, we have 5 doctors now in this place. We can't do 1,000 patients anymore.
Where do they go? The patients?
We'll do 500 patients.
But where
so this way I look at it, as if you think about the people that offer the services, and you can give adequate explanation to the public, you can stagger the clinic and say, okay, some of you come on this Monday, other come on the other Monday.
Okay.
But you don't think about the patient. You don't think about the doctors, the healthcare workers. You think about how much money can come into the coffers of the system.
Because you're driven by profit. But what is the NMA doing about this?
That's what we're doing. Now, what we've done...
Something has been put into plan, into action?
Yes. Before, there used to be bureaucracy on how doctors are employed into the system, where you have to go to the head of service of the nation to get approval to employ anybody that leaves the system. Now, that bureaucracy has been taken off. So there are waivers. If there are employment opportunities in the hospital, there are waivers not to employ through the Federal Ministry of Health, instead of going to the head of service. Before, Now, but some people still don't use the opportunity. Imagine a hospital in Lokoja, Federal Teaching Hospital in Lokoja, casualizing doctors, giving them on locum, which means a doctor had been employed for 5 years in this hospital. 5 years, some doctors. And they're on the same salary scale for that 5 years. No leave, no promotion. They are victimized because they're not telling you, this is a federal teaching hospital. You have the opportunity to train resident doctors, you have opportunity to see more patients. But you have some department ask no doctor, ask no resident, and they're getting this funding from the budget of federal government. How much are they accountable? Those are my issues. So the CMDs are like, sometimes they're like emperors, demigods. They're the ones that oversee the hospital, but they're not answerable to anybody. You know, are you getting my point? So the patients now look at the doctors as you don't want to see them, but they're not seeing the doctors as also being patient, that they can fall down there. I've seen doctors doing ward round in teaching hospital like in Benin, died on doing ward round because they were stressed. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
Doctors need, the system is not helping doctors grow. I know in the past, you know, if you have research opportunities to go abroad, you can go abroad and learn few things and come back to Nigeria and invest. Most of which all of our professors enjoyed in the past. You can say, okay, you want to go and do maybe some specialty training in the UK and the US, even sometimes funded by the federal government. But now the opportunities are not there anymore. Now they've told you that if you want to go and do any other training abroad, now you have to resign your job where you're working. How do you improve yourself? So the environment is not enabling at all. It's just work. No workplace policy, no value for what you are doing, no respect.
So does your association, and then how does this association come in? Because I like to think that one of your tenets or your
welfare,
your responsibility is welfare of the doctor, right? And I can only imagine that the Japa Syndrome as well must have even made it harder in terms of ensuring that, I mean, with the exit of all those doctors, the doctors are dwindling, meaning that the ratio between patient and doctor expands even more, which makes it difficult for you guys to be able to ensure that the welfare of these doctors, just as an all-round way, how hard is it, and what have you been doing in just helping with, the welfare of doctors?
So as I've said before, one of the things we've done is to help relieve this bureaucracy. There are doctors that want to be employed. That's one thing. Every year in this country, we have about 7,800 in medical schools. There are those doctors that already finished medical school.
Here in Nigeria. Okay.
So they are available.
So they are available. So
sometimes there's a lot of corruption in the system. A lot of
just a second, we have a bit of technical issue with your device here. We're going to fix that, but while we're fixing that, let's turn to our guest on online video. So, Dr. Mina, now, you are outside the country. May I ask, I have a series of questions to ask you. May I ask what the conditions are like outside the country first?
Thank you for asking that. So, as you know, I'm here in the United Kingdom, and the UK, there are reports that the UK has 25%, the 25% of NHS workers, healthcare providers are from Nigeria, comprising of the doctors, nurses, medical lab scientists, healthcare assistants, and all of that. The working conditions in the UK, as my first vice president, well said from the beginning, is all about the pulling factors that they have. And one of the pulling factors that they have is, a conducive working environment where you earn well, you can take care of your family, you have security, both job security and, environmental security. You can also have professional growth where in terms of trainings and all of that. And the most important one is also about the working environment. That is the working hours, equipments for you to use to save patients' life, because you know how to save patients' life. But when you don't have those equipments in place, it's still an empty case for you. So these are the the things that are available that make working around here in the UK very good. For instance, let me give you an instance. The working time directive, when we talk about the working hours, the working time directive in the UK does not allow anyone to go above 40 hours per week, whether you are in the public sector or the private sector.
That's very interesting. 40 hours a week is the limit at which you can work. So there are these things that are put in place.
It's the limit that you have to work, and any employer would have to follow it, regardless, unless if you opt out yourself.
All right, so Usman, are these the conditions that led you to leave Nigeria to the UK?
Definitely. It is a difficult question to answer. There are a lot of reasons. For everyone, I believe, who leaves Nigeria, as a doctor, for us, it's not just about the money. Many, of course, would say it's because about the money and all of that, but deep down, we are committed to, first of all, serving our own people back home. And that is why it is important for us that we see, our country working better. To answer your question, whether it is definitely one of the main reasons, because if you keep working, trying to, give your best in a country where it doesn't seem like it values you or what you have or your professionalism, definitely passion at the end will fade away, and you would be pulled towards where there are good, offers for you. And doctors, of course, have offers, everywhere around the world. And so it's easy for them to just move away. As bad as it is for our country, and that is why we're trying to see that we come and have a seat and discuss all of these issues, so that at the end we find sustainable solutions to all of them.
So Dr. Usman, I'm told that you have a word for doctors that you would like to pass across. Let's give you that 1 minute right now.
Thank you very much. This is not only for doctors, it's actually for everyone in Nigeria, and I just hope you give me your ears. So to everyone watching today, on behalf of all the Nigerian medical doctors, I want to emphasize the importance of addressing the working conditions of medical doctors in Nigeria. The call to abolish the practice of having doctors continue working the next day after 24 hours in hospital call is not just a matter of policy, it's a matter of life and death. A tired doctor is a dangerous doctor, and their fatigue poses a significant risk to our healthcare. We must acknowledge that doctors deserve rest between their duties. They are not just healthcare providers. They are human beings deserving of dignity and respect. When a patient loses their life, the pain felt by their family is profound. And while they may find a way to heal over time, the weight of that loss lingers with the doctor forever. Each life they strive to save is a reminder of their commitment to the Hippocratic Oath. It is our responsibility to ensure that their mental health is protected, so they can continue to provide us with the best care possible. By advocating for better working conditions, we are investing in the health of our communities and honoring the sacrifices our doctors make every day. So I call on all of us to stand together to support our healthcare providers, ensuring that they have the rest and respect they need to keep saving lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll let you have as excellently put. You have the final floor. You are in charge of the NMA, which is Nigerian Medical Association. Your final say.
I've known Amin for a while. We've been talking. I think it's important all of us as a people in this country fight against tyranny in medical practice, and also fight against unaccountability. I think if we now begin to use our budget properly as value to impact on the healthcare workers, it makes it better for us to impact the community. I don't see why a medical director would victimize his colleagues, because he was once a young doctor, and because doctors are now protesting, you are sacking them, or you're trying to victimize them. It happened in Federal Teaching Hospital in Lokoja. Dr. Labi is the CMD. I think he has done that couple of years, casualizing doctors, victimizing them. These are the reasons why the doctors won't go to that place anymore, because it's already they are pushing them away. I want to say what I said. Let all of us as a people must stand against health. Is the right of all Nigerians. If all of us as a people don't stand for it, we're not going to move forward as a country. So please, Nigerians, help us speak to the matters. Let's improve the adequate working environment of doctors in this country, and let's give value to healthcare workers, because health, they say, is wealth. Thank you very much.
Health is wealth indeed. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining us. We appreciate you for coming on. To Dr. Usman Alamu, and as well as our very own, the first Vice President of the Nigerian Medical Association. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us. We appreciate you. Before we close the curtain for this conversation here for the Nigeria healthcare and just healthcare in crisis, addressing medical doctors and their conditions. We switch gears after the break to bring you how much more Nigerians might be paying at the ATMs, transaction fees, after a 50% hike in tariffs. After the break, stay with us.
Welcome back again. It's our final discussion here for Breakfast Extra for a Saturday morning. Now, starting March 1st, 2025, Nigerians will experience changes in ATM withdrawal charges. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced a revision of ATM transaction fees, eliminating the 3 free monthly withdrawal previously allowed for customers using other banks' ATMs. Now, every withdrawal from another bank ATM will attract a fee of 100 naira per 20,000 naira, with additional surcharges for off-site ATMs. Now, this move aims to address rising operational costs and enhance the efficiency of ATM services across the banking industry.
Fun times. And so to help us understand the implications of these changes, we have with us Samson Akinkaru. He's a senior tech analyst at Nairametrics. Samson.
Welcome. Thank you very much for coming.
Is Samson Goliath?
No, not Samson Goliath.
Goliath is the tariff that everything that we use in Nigeria.
But the CBN has now introduced a 100 naira, fee per 20,000 naira withdrawal at on-site ATMs. I argue that there's no difference between them and POS operators at this point, but what do I know? I'm just a woman. But with this additional surcharges at off-site ATMs, could you explain the immediate impact? And why do you think the CBN is moving this way and charging 100 naira? Let's even start there. Why a 100 naira fee per 20,000 naira? For amounts below 20,000 naira.
Okay, thank you. The last time they reviewed the POS charges was in 2020, I think. And that time they brought it down from 65 naira to 35 naira. So for this new review, the CBN is saying that they want to achieve efficiency in ATM, and they also want to, you observe that for some time now, in several banks, you don't get cash in ATMs. You go to ATMs, they are cashless, you can't withdraw. And it is based on the fact that the banks were running loss in maintaining ATMs. So CBN, in trying to find a way to make them have some gain in maintaining ATMs, to try to jack up the fees and then fix the.
I have a submission.
Okay.
The maintenance for ATMs is what's causing all of this. Were the ATMs working in the first place? Because Nigerians no longer go to bank ATMs. We can't even find a functional one to start with. So we would rather go down the street and pay 100 naira extra, 300 naira for 10,000 naira, if I'm not mistaken, extra to a POS terminal. These guys even have more access to monies than we do. If you go to the bank and say you want so and so amount, you may not get it. However, these guys get it. Are the banks not in cahoots with the POS operators? One, is it really because of increase in operational costs for ATMs that this charge has come? Let's face it, your thought.
Well, there are two things. Number one is the rising cost of maintenance of ATM. Then the second thing is that the fact that you are not getting cash from the bank is because people are not even depositing cash in the bank. And talking about the POS operators, most of the POS operators, they are not getting their money from the banks. Most of them are now having a kind of arrangement with market women that they go to every day to collect cash. I spoke with many of them. Some of them, they have deal with petrol stations where they go and collect, because they themselves, they can't even access cash from the banks. Although there has been that conspiracy that, okay, the POS operators are the one colluding with banks to get cash. But I think I've tried to find out. And
I've seen Chris money with those. Those money mongers, the ones that share money at the one days. In fact, clubs. What are you talking about? Clubs, the adult entertainment centers. The crisp money that is packaged.
You don't have to tell
but you know that's not the time that they use for POS business. Okay. You can. I think the CBN also needs to take action about the people that sell currency at parties, because definitely they are buying it from the bank. You can't withdraw that even in the ATM. You don't even get that.
So what you're saying is that you do not believe the conspiracy between the banks and the you don't believe it.
I do not believe it.
When next you come to Festac, I'll take you out to a bank, and just there opposite the bank gates is a POS operator who always has cash. But right opposite the bank there's never any cash at the ATM.
No, what I'm trying to say that there is possibility that yes, some get their cash from banks, but I also know a lot of POS operators that get their cash from market women, from filling stations.
So back to this 100 naira. Okay, Judith, I beg your pardon. Go ahead, please.
You said something.
Yeah.
You said that that the banks don't have cash because people are not depositing in the bank. All right, and then there's this model that we have that's not really cashless policy, but then it's cashless policy. And so what is the consumer behavior behind the banks not having cash? What's really, is it that people are not going in to deposit their money anymore? Is it that people are keeping money at home? Because if we don't have access to the money at ATMs, if we have to pay POS machines to get money, you know, it's not readily available. I know the times I don't carry cash as I normally would. I can't remember how long I've been carrying cash. Then what's happened to our circulation, really?
I think this can still be traced back to 2023, early 2023, when there was cash crunch. You know, you put your money in the bank and then you wanted to collect your money, it became a problem. So a lot of people found it difficult to withdraw their money. I think from that time, many people
so we've lost trust in the bank.
They've lost trust in just taking their cash to the bank. So many people started keeping their cash at home. So with that, I think banks are now suffering a lot in getting cash from customers, because I could remember there was an instance in December, just this last month. Somebody paid me cash, and I found out that most of the cash were just dirty notes, rough. So I had to go to the bank. So as I entered the bank, the cashier that was to attend to me said, "Wow." So when I gave him the cash, he said, "Oh, I was happy as you came in. I thought it was a good cash that you come to deploy so that we have cash today."
So they're relying on you.
They're relying on people to bring in cash because they didn't have cash.
And you also said that the POS machines, especially the ones you spoke to, the operators that you spoke to, are going to the merchants and the market traders, and then also the filling stations. So where is all the money that was mopped up during the in the last quarter of 2022 and first quarter of 2023?
Probably many of them were not returned to the bank, I think. Because, and then going back to my previous statement on POS operators, you see, the POS operators are also contributing to the bank's lack of cash, because normally, as a business person, if you have sold market, maybe at the end of the day, you go to the bank to go and deposit. But when you already have an arrangement with a POS person that comes to collect the cash, so definitely you don't go to the bank.
What are the implications of the money being out there in circulation, in quote? Because we know most of it might be with the POS operators. Where it's supposed to be in the bank, while the monies are inside of the bank, they have, there's an effect it has on the economy. So what is that effect? What is that gap that we're now seeing now that the money is all kept inside of circulation and not at the banks? How's that going to implicate the economy?
You know, that's the problem is that really affects our economic policy. You know, the CBN will be unable to really monitor, okay, what do we have, because, and then it's also, it's something that also affecting the CBN cashless policy of the government, of the CBN. You know, when you say you are trying to promote a cashless economy, and then people are not taking their money to the bank, then that means the cashless policy has failed.
So perhaps it wasn't well thought out. Maybe there's some gaps in
and that brings me to even the ATM charges, because this will encourage people the more to keep their cash.
So I was coming there, I was wondering, ATM charges, we don't use ATMs anyway, whether you like it or not. So we can increase the tariffs, the charges all you want. I'm still going to go to Japa Syndrome down the road with the umbrella and get cash from her, because...
You know her name already?
Don't you know all of them? I mean, because of the regularity with which you collect money from these guys, you know their children and what class they're in. When they come back from school, they take over from their mothers. You know the entire family, because in the evening, daddy is there having a little...
sitting down next to the wife,
You know, it's a lifestyle now. So that's how related we are with it, which goes to show how redundant ATMs have become. So facing facts, increase all you want, we don't care, we'll go to Yalukman. Is that the case? Am I correct?
No, but let's not lose the fact of the case that this 100 naira applies to other banks' ATM.
Other banks.
So if I have my bank close to my house, it means I can also still withdraw.
But that would be rare.
But before it was 65,000. Sorry, 65 naira.
Yes, 65 naira.
You now increase it to 100 naira.
100 naira.
Mm?
It's not even about increments. Before you have free
withdrawals
per month.
Per month.
Yeah. So now there's no free withdrawal on other banks' ATM.
Okay. So is the issue of operational cost of the ATMs justified? Because the CBN is citing rising operational costs for the ATM machines. Is it justified for that increment? Even removing the entirety of the withdrawal fee per month.
Well, I don't know how much the banks are spending in maintaining their ATMs.
Zero.
So for me to be able to say it is justified or not.
They never work anyway.
But if you look at the cost, if you look at the rising cost of everything, the forex and all that, and it's the same thing that applies to the telecom operators that recently, you know, for long they've been clamoring for, let us increase tariff. The government did not allow them, but eventually they allowed them 50%. So it's also this rising cost of operations. So I'm not in the best position to know whether it's justified or not, or whether it should be certain percentage or not, because I don't know how much they are spending on that.
Let's flip this thing on its head.
Yeah.
We've talked about the unbanked, the underbanked, and inclusion. And we always continue to have this conversation. Those that are in the border towns, those who do not have access to banking halls, that cannot even be banked. How is this going to affect them in any way possible?
Exactly.
Yes, it's going to affect them because, you know, let's even forget about banks now. Before the 100 naira ATM charges, last December, the fintech started charging 50 naira for a transfer that is above 10,000 naira. So before now, a lot of Nigerians ran to fintechs because, okay, at least you can afford them some free transfers, unlike the banks. Now, if you go to rural areas, most of them, you don't have banks, but many of them are getting exposed to all these fintech apps now, if it's a place that has internet. So they are using the fintech. But with the 50 naira electronic money transfer levy that has been introduced, many of them are now withdrawing by that, okay, means if I want to transfer this money, now you still charge me 50 naira extra. So that is already affecting financial inclusion.
But only by so much, because that 50 naira would, I mean, if I substitute my transport fare to the bank for that 50 naira, I'm good. If it's only 50 naira, take a bit.
That is for you. Don't forget we're talking about rural areas.
Yeah, but then even how many banks do you have in rural? They're not.
No. We're even talking about fintech now, which is something you can do on your phone.
That's
they're not going anywhere.
That's the point. That's why it would rather still be an option, is what I'm saying, because even if it's 100 naira, most people in rural areas, 100 naira might be less than what they pay for transportation to these banks, which might be, for instance, I come from a small village called Ideze, and in Ideze there is no bank. You have to go all the way to Ozoro to find a bank, and that will take a bike perhaps maybe 500 naira or 1,000 naira. I would rather pay the fintech 50 naira.
Yes, that's correct, and I think that is why people were patronizing POS operators, because instead of you now,
accessibility,
if they are close to you, you can easily get them. So that's why people don't mind what they charge. So, but if you also look at, if you're talking about rural areas, how many ATMs do we even have in the
I might do, because they are honest, how much is charged me 335. I was just looking at my drive the whole time as I'm giving them.
And also, let's not forget that even though we are talking about 20 naira, it doesn't mean it's 20 naira. 20 naira is like what you can withdraw at once.
20,000.
So 20,000 rather, sorry. So, but even if what you have in your account is not up to 20,000, even if you want to withdraw 2,000 naira from another bank's ATM,
I would still get charged.
They will still charge you that 100 naira. So it's not just about 20 naira. So they still charge you 100 naira for that 2,000 if you are using other banks' ATM.
I think the question here is whether this would deter consumers or customers from using the ATM, so if they just continue to rely on the POS operators.
I think it's a matter of calculation. You calculate which one is cheaper.
And then and that means the fintechs, they are primed to cash out gold from this.
Exactly. Because even, let's say, the 50 naira is but it's still small compared to you now going to ATM to withdraw. So many people, I think this will also encourage people to do more transfers rather than withdrawing cash. But the problem is that when you go to a place where they say, even despite all the cashless, there are places that you go there to buy something and they still tell you, we don't accept transfer. So you have to do cash. So that is where the challenge is.
Samson, why are we so reluctant when it comes to cashless, payments? Whether it's in the markets or whether it's, supermarkets is a completely different conversation entirely. They'll take you to another till where there's a cashier there, there's a merchant there that is waiting, and they'll generate something for you to pay. What happens? What can we ever get to a point where even the orange seller, whoever is now markets in the open markets, can be able to do cashless policy or cashless transfers without you having to go and meet another person in POS, collect money, pay the person, go back? Oh my God!
I think you still have the issue of trust in Nigeria.
Yeah,
and they say once bitten, twice shy. You've seen some merchants that people will do transfer, and then you pay, you deliver the goods, you go, then eventually you discover that the money did not enter your account.
Yeah.
So that kind of merchants will say, no, I'm not crazy, just give me my cash. So that trust issue is still there. So a lot of people don't even trust the system. And also we've also had issue of fraud, people doing fake transfer as well. So when you have that, you see some people, if they've done it to you once, you will not want to collect transfer again. Say, just give me my cash, let me hold it.
So final, do you think Nigerians should be overly concerned, overly alarmed at this 100 naira charge?
I don't think
you don't think there's anything to.
I don't think they should, because for me nothing has changed really. Because before now a lot of people use POS. So if you know that your bank is not close to you and you have POS around, so instead of going to looking for other banks ATM, why not just patronize POS operators? But my only concern is that when the POS operators see that a lot of people don't have choice but to come to them, they may also decide to raise their charges. We've seen charges move up from like 200 naira to now, for you to collect 20,000 naira, I think it's 600 naira. So 10,000 we pay 300 naira, 5,200 naira. So when and then when you know that people rely on you, you are the only one you have a kind of monopoly
these charges
situation.
For POS operators are arbitrary. They just simply set their charge.
That is it.
Now, doesn't that tantamount to selling the tender, selling the naira, which is illegal? And shouldn't that be what the central bank should be focused on at this point? Because that's where everybody's migrating to, the POS operators. Who cares about the ATMs?
Yes, I think that should be a form of regulation.
That's the regulation
how they charge. Because if you can just increase charges anyhow because you know that people don't have options.
In the evening is different from in the morning.
Exactly, because
I can see you too, you're suffering for you. The passion from is exactly.
I'm thinking about this regulation, right? Because when you go to the towns like Nasarawa, places like Nasarawa, and those border towns, because the more you get out of Lagos and the more you go into the northeast, north central, and the deeper you go up north, the prices always change.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? So can regulation, streamline a baseline for transactions?
Exactly.
That's the million naira question. But where can we get? How do we get to the point where my ugu seller and my lamb chop seller has POS machines? And I don't necessarily have to go to the person who's in the market.
Because if you put that question down and analyze it, she gives you two spectrums: the ugu seller, the woman in second gate, and the lamb chop one, the one is at a high-end, highbrow. Interesting question. Please answer.
How do they all get their own POS machines?
So for the ugu seller at gates that you might mention, I think what they need is just the awareness. A lot of people need to be aware of this. But another problem is that a lot of people are aware of this, but they also, the issue of trust that I raised earlier is also affecting them. They don't want to. So they don't want to go into that. Then there are also some people that work. I know that there was one madam I used to buy yam from. He used to collect transfer. At some point I got there and I realized that he already has a POS machine beside him. So we say, I don't collect transfer, I go and collect cash from POS.
That's what they're doing now. If those guys
employer of labor.
Nigerians always
I may say, okay, my daughter come and be doing POS beside
exactly.
So they will collect cash from you.
We always find
business opportunity in every situation.
My God.
That's just the issue.
It just reminded me because the lady, the malams, Shabi and these guys always bring us all the fresh booties. So the broccoli, you know, the vegetables, your fruits, and also your sweet potato, and then the fresh tomatoes. As you're buying from every single one of them, there's just this one guy who's just at the back waiting. Because as your bill is piling up, he knows he's about to make a killing. But Samson, I want to say thank you so much for taking out the time to join us. Samson Akitaru, he's a senior analyst with Nairametrics, giving us a bit of insight with the hike in transaction fee as you start to use ATMs on site. It's scrapping out all of your free withdrawals, the 3 times free withdrawal for a month. Samson, once again, many thanks. Well, this is where we draw the curtains for today's conversation.
Yes, indeed. As usual, well, from now on, we have a bit of takeout for you guys. Check this out. We'll be back tomorrow. Maybe have a little word on it before we go on with tomorrow's Sunday edition.
Ah, yes, it's the comments about the NSAS protests.
Take a look.
I have not seen any video of an incident where there was a live bullet that shot someone. The videos that were circulating were videos after the fact. So you will see a video where people are already
No, they were happening in the moment. We don't have that now because NSAS was not part of the conversation this morning. But there were videos
you asked the
of
question
Instagram. Yes. No, it was because of the the protest. I was trying to lead up to how we got to the place where it feels like the voices of the people are being held back. But at the time, it was a live stream that was happening. Live streams aren't doctored. The way that Instagram works, something is happening in the studio, the cameraman can have a live stream and everybo's seeing it in real time. And people were seeing it in real time.
So let me double down on that, because I'm sure you don't have a live video in which you see a gunman or a military officer shooting someone and then you see the person drop as a result of that shot. All the videos I've seen, I'm coming, were after the fact. In other words, yes, there was a video of military people shooting in the air, and then there was a video of people already on ground, some in blood, in the pool of blood, people complaining. I am not suggesting that somebody shot himself and claimed that it is the law enforcement, but I am debunking the notion that there was a live video covering the shooting by a military officer.
So
it is also not a justification for a military or police officer to use live bullet on protesters.